Hey everybody, it's Matt Johnson. We're back again with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. Thank you so much for joining us. And while we wait to have some people join us and watch us live right here on Google Hangouts, I just want to speak to anyone that might be watching the video version here on YouTube or listening to the audio version on iTunes or Stitcher. I want to thank you for doing that as well. So make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, McDaniel Real Estate Systems, or subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher if you like the audio version nestled right here between your ears. We are coming at you basically 3 times a week, and we're talking about actionable ideas and strategies to help you build a life of freedom out of your real estate career. So with that, we're going to talk about buyers today. We've got a special Q&A episode. We're pulling a bunch of questions off the Lead Gen Scripts and Objections forum, all related to buyers. And with that said, let me bring in my co-host, my co-pilot, the junior grandmaster himself, Greg Mcdaniel. What is up today, Greg?
Matt, my dear good friend, how are you? Happy 2016 to you. I cannot believe we are this old that we're saying 2016. I thought we were supposed to be having like flying cars and shit by this time, but no, we're still very much land-based, unfortunately, and stuck in traffic majority of the time. But you know, I gotta tell you, man, I am so blessed right now, so blessed. You and I have built this podcast from nothing to 815 subscribers in less than 1 year. You know what? We continually are being blessed by having wonderful people listen to us and follow us. I just want to thank everybody for being a part of this, this group and following us and liking us and listening to us. We're so excited, and you know what, Matt? I'm gonna put the gauntlet down right now. I'm throwing the gauntlet. I'm more or less asking for help is what I'm doing.
Okay.
What I want, guys, is Matt and I didn't think we were going to be able to get to 750 subscribers before the end of February this coming year. This year. Yeah. I thought I did February, but anyways, the point is that I think I would like to see if we could get to 1,200 by the end of February.
Nice. I think it's doable.
You know what? And we can only do it with you guys. If you guys could help us out, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell your office, help us get the word out. Help me fill my evenings with the McDaniel challenge. I would love to do it. I think we can get to 1,200, Matt. That would be an insane thing to do, to help 1,200 people continuously and then grow from there and then start doing office visits. That's what I would like to see.
All right, I love it. Well, like Greg said, the best way to do that, just tell a friend, tell your office, hook people up with the show. I mean, that's how it's grown so far. We're not doing any advertising or anything like that. It's basically just growing by word of mouth. So we would appreciate if you guys keep on doing that. We want to help more people.
Absolutely. But the best way to do that, let's start with the question. What do you say?
All right, let's do it. Okay, so let's start with the beginning of the buyer process. So the first question we'll bring from the group, and this is the Lead Gen Scripts and Objections forum. If you're not a member of that already, both Greg and I are members. It's a great active community started by our friend Aaron Wittenstein. It's over at facebook.com/group/gotobjections. So Teresa Karam asked, does anyone take buyers out looking for homes without either a proof of funds or a pre-approval letter? I've had to turn down a few internet leads because they didn't want to provide me either one, so please advise. Greg, what do you have to say about that?
I would absolutely never take a buyer out before they get pre-approved or have spoken with the lender. If they haven't gotten official pre-approval, pre-something, at least we know that they're not, skeleton buyers and they don't know what, or they can't do what they say they're going to do. So my script for, if they're like, well, I just want to go find a house and then I'll go get pre-approved, right? So this is the script that I use for that. I'm going to say, Matt, I appreciate your energy and your enthusiasm to go out there and find a home, but let me explain something to you just so that we all know how this process works for your best interest, because the worst thing I could do is show you a home, one of two things. One, it's a home that might be just a little bit out of your comfort range in regards to monthly payments, and that would be the worst thing I could do. And second off, if we don't get pre-approved, one, we're not going to be looking at the right houses and the right price points, but also the listing agent, they're not going to look at your offer at all with seriousness if they don't know you can actually perform. And we will never put an offer in without a pre-approval letter, because the first thing the listing agent is going to do, like we do, is we look at the offer and then we say, where's the pre-approval? There it is. Great. Then we call the lender immediately before we even bring the offers to our clients, so that we know that we aren't bringing a straw offer to our buyer, to our seller, and they're sitting there going, well, I want to go with this one, but there's no pre-approval. It falls apart. We lose the other buyers that were interested in the home. So it is critical, because you have to compete and, on the same playing field as everyone else who did get approved. And really, this has happened. I've heard of stories, not with us, because we do follow this religiously, thanks to my father and Chris, and kind of beating that into the rest of our heads. But we've seen people, submit offers to us And then ultimately, because in the contract it says you have up to 3 days to provide the letter. I don't know any rational, sane listing agents that's going to take 3 flipping days in this marketplace where there's no inventory to analyze this potential offer when there's equally good offers out there that there are people are pre-approved. So, I mean, that's what we do, and we're very firm on it because you only have your time and your knowledge, guys. That's what you bring to this business. So if they're wasting your time, and you could be using your knowledge of someone else, it's a waste of time.
Yeah. And I would think that in a low inventory environment, it gets easier to explain that to buyers because I think it's a little bit more easier for them to intuitively understand and maybe put themselves in the shoes of the seller and understand that they want to get, if they're going up against other buyers and they're competing against other offers, you have to make the strongest offer possible in order to have a shot at getting the house. It gets a little bit tougher. Like if you're in the Midwest and you're in some of the off-market times when you don't have that competition, that seller might have had their house on the market for 60 days. The buyers know that coming in. Then you sometimes get that objection where it's a little bit harder to convince them that they need to make a strong offer. It's still all in the scripting and the phrasing, but if it's a low inventory environment, it should be pretty much a no-brainer because there's so many buyers out there. You hold your frame, you stay on message, say I only work with people that have their pre-approval or proof of funds first, and this is why, these are the reasons, and if you can't follow that, then you have to wait until you're more serious about finding a home.
Well, there's also the other side of this, Matt, that a lot of buyers, especially first-time buyers, just don't get because they've never done it before. They don't understand the complete process because getting a loan, you have to have a certain ratios in your back end to be pre-approved, right? So let's say they went out and they talked to a lender several months ago before they found this, before they found working with you, and they were approved up to $600,000 just for, a number. But in between now and then, either maybe one of them lost a job, maybe one of them started a business, maybe one of them went out and bought a freaking boat, or maybe got a new car. So they made a major purchase and their percentages in their back end shifted to the point where they can't achieve that purchase power anymore. So in their mind, they can go get the $600,000 property, but in reality, they can only get a $550,000. So they think that they're right, but they always have to be updated. Maybe I go, say anything change, let's get you pre-approved through my guy. Oh, you've already done it. Great. Let's just have my guy or gal look at your paperwork just for double checking. We've seen that happen. We had a guy go out and buy an RV right before going and buying a house. And he's like, what do you mean I can't afford it? And you're like, well, dipshit, you just bought a $80,000 RV. What do you think was going to happen? He just didn't get it. So needless to say, that RV went away immediately. And the wife had a few conversations with him in very stern language.
What did you guys manage to catch it while it's still in the California 3-day, oh crap, I bought a huge thing I can't afford time period?
Yeah, it wasn't quite that easy, but he was able to sell it. They got off his debt. He got the money back. So yeah, it was a close one. I mean, but
nice.
Or if they're defaulting in car payments. I mean, I bought a client's car one time because he had defaulted on his fiance's payment, and if the bank had seen it, then they wouldn't have qualified for the loan again. That kind of stuff. Yeah,
gotcha. Interesting stuff. All right, so we've got a few more questions to get to. Before we do that, let's give a couple quick shout outs. What do you say, Greg?
Ooh, I like shout outs, Matt. Okay. Am I going first or are you going first?
I'll go first in this case because I feel like
you would.
I know. Well, I'll let you drink your water. So first of all, let me give a couple of shout outs to our lovely and talented sponsors. Number one, Viral Marketing. I just want to thank them for cutting a check to help make podcasts and hangouts like these happen. If you need help reaching more people in your database to generate repeat and referral business, they are awesome. Many of you might know that's how me and Greg met, was through Viral Marketing. So check them out at getviral.com. Viral is with a Y, don't forget that. And then Equity. So that is the buyer lead generation platform built from the ground up for solo agents. It's run by one of the fellow agents there in Greg's office, Pierce Plam. So if you're interested in generating buyer leads, a sustainable number for very low cost, where we hook you up with a mortgage lender that actually subsidizes your costs and helps offset the cost of generating those leads, just take the Mcdaniel challenge. Greg will let you know if it's available in your area, and if it is, he will get you hooked up with Pierce to get started on that program and get all the details you need. So with that said, what is the Mcdaniel challenge, Greg?
The Mcdaniel challenge is an opportunity to help me not spend a night alone.
That's right.
Because I hate it to spend nights alone. I'm very lonely.
What is it? Hashtag don't let Greg spend the night alone.
Yeah, hashtag don't let Greg spend a night alone. What it is, what it really is that I reserve 6 p.m. till 7:30 p.m. every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evening, Pacific Standard Time, to talk with an agent, one-on-one coaching. So if you're having something that's stopping you, or a sticking point in your business, or just you're getting in the business, we just need to lay out a game plan for you. By the end of it, we will have a customized marketing plan built for you, utilizing your strengths, some of them which you don't even know you have. I just did that in my AIM class today, Matt. And I blew them away by some of the things that these people had in their repertoires and in their quivers of things they can use to attack the industry. And they all looked at me with a collective like, no shit, okay. And I'm like, see, marketing can be fun. It can be fun to go prospect. But yeah, so guys, this is how you do it. You're going to reach out to yours truly. Call me on my personal cell phone. Yes, it's mine. It truly is. Test it and see what happens. Matt's called me on it. It works just fine when he calls me, so I know it'll work for you. My best number is 925-915-1978. Again, 925-915-1978. Or if you are running, exercising, in the shower, sitting in the spa, doing anything else that you don't have a pen near you, just remember McDanielChallenge.com. You can go there and you'll get a hold of me, and we will find a time to talk. So that is a way not to make me spend a night alone. I have 2 appointments this week, guys. Please book the other 2. I really want to talk to you.
That's right. And you've got some shout outs. So who are the 2 people that you're talking to, and who did you talk to last week?
Stupid thing. There it is. My mouse has been a real pain in the ass lately. So I get to talk to Brian tonight. He hit me up over before the first of the year, and so we have had him booked tonight. And then tomorrow, who am I meeting with tomorrow? Shit, it's on my text here. I thought I wasn't going to look this dumb. Damn it. Anyways, I will get this done here in the middle of our broadcast. I'll probably blurt out some sort of a name. Oh, Lenny. With Keller Williams in Long Beach. Get to kick it with you, player. Thank you, man. I cannot wait. Got to put that in my calendar.
That would be good, yeah.
And then last week, Matt, I didn't do a whole hell of a lot of talking, I tell you. Actually, I didn't do any last week because it was New Year's and the 28th and everything else. And you didn't want to do any recording with me, biatch.
Yeah, I was ready to be done with Real Estate Uncensored for the year.
I've had enough of this recording, and McDaniel, I can't stand to look at you another second.
That's right. Take a week off.
Although when Matt and I got back together today, we had some amazingly fun stories we were exchanging back and forth as usual and laughing our asses off.
Totally unfit for the air, but that's all right.
Oh, those will never see the light of day.
That's
never.
Right. All right, but if you would like us to see the light of day in your office, we would love to come there. And that's what we call a segue.
Yes, it is.
That's right. So if you would like us to appear in your office and talk about high touch prospecting or any of the other topics that we talk about on the show, take the McDaniel Challenge, get a hold of Greg, and hook him up with the team leader or broker in your office that makes those kinds of decisions so that they can talk and see about us coming to your office and actually appearing and speaking in your office and helping your agents out in person.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say, Gregory, that we get to some more questions and talk about buyers today?
Matt, I would love to. Gregory. My mom calls me Gregory. When I hear that name, I'm like, shit, I'm in trouble. Gregory Thomas McDaniel.
Perfect.
You get over
awesome.
here.
Now I got the middle name too. Perfect. All right, I'm going to file that away for future reference.
Please don't.
All right, so here we go. So again, we're going to go back to the beginning stage of working with a buyer. So again, this is a question from the Facebook Lead Gen Scripts and Objections forum, and Christy Lawson asks, you're sitting down with a buyer to have them sign a buyer's rep agreement prior to showing properties that day, and they say they don't want to sign anything yet. So she sets the scene a little bit, saying that she's already shown them one property even before having that meeting, and then asks, how do you handle that, and would you still show them properties as scheduled? So Greg, what do you say?
I've told some of you guys a story about how I really tried to use a buyer agreement. And again, guys, I am not advocating not to use it. I'm not advocating to use it. I'm advocating that you make a decision for your own business. Okay, I'm just going to tell you how I run my side. So please take that into account. I sat down with a gentleman who was a buyer, and I brought out the buyer agreement form. And I was like, sir, this is a document that basically chains me to you for life, and I'm going to represent your interest, and it's going to be amazing. And I went over the document with him. He, no joke, just got up, didn't say a word, walked out of the conference room, walked out the front door. And I'm like, well, shit, that didn't work. I gotta maybe come up with a different theory or way of doing this. So what I did is I rely upon my relationship building abilities to keep my clients close to me. Now, this is what I do. Now, unfortunately, as much as this all sucks, we all have been cheated on in one way or another, right? And so I get back to that emotion, that pain, and I do the cheating script. I made this thing up or kind of pieced it together from different ones, and this is what I do. I say, Matt, well, it's going to be awkward if it's Matt. Matt, I want to say I'm talking to your wife, Julie.
Okay. That's right. I mean, she's taking a break from her and her 3-pound babies to talk to you.
No, her 3 12-pound babies.
Okay.
Not 3-pound baby. That's a tiny little thing.
Okay, 3 12-pound baby. There we go.
So I'll say, Julie, I am extremely excited to be working with you and your family to help you guys find your next home. Let me explain to you a little bit how I work so that you can know what to expect from me. Is that okay? And I'm sitting there, I'm nodding, I'm smiling. She's like, yeah, sure. And so I say, you know what? This relationship that we have is this working relationship here is kind of like a dating relationship in regards to this. And it goes like this, is that what I bring to this is my time and my energy and my knowledge. And so if you were to work with another agent and go look at other properties and or write a contract or go into contract with them, that would be directly cheating on me. And cheating is it's not fun, is it? And I shake my head and I'm squinting my eyes and it's horrible. And I said, so the way that I would like to move forward is like this. I want to work exclusively with you like a dating relationship, because right now we're on our first date, and I would like to then go see some homes, and then I would like to take it to the second date. That would be our engagement. We would write an offer, and then we would get married when we got our offer confirmed, and we take it through the escrow. Now, you guys wouldn't want to cheat on me, would you? And they're like, no, I would never do that. That sucks. And so I use the emotion to kind of show them how it does hurt. And this is how I make my livelihood. And that, when they start thinking about the whole cheating thing, they know how it felt to be cheated on in some way, shape, or form in the past. And I guarantee you they did not like it. And being a naturally good human being, they're not going to want to do it to you. Every time I've done it, never had a problem. Actually get a few laughs because you smile and they joke, you're joking around together, but they get it. But that's how I do it with mine. I also not lock them in with just good knowledge of the area, what the values are doing, what's coming on the market, what we have coming on the market. You lock them in with just so much value that there's not a chance in hell that they would ever go work with Matt Johnson, because that guy's green behind the ears. But Greg McDaniel is a veteran. This guy's he has his thumb on the pulse of the marketplace. We got to use this agent. So that's another way. If you're not comfortable doing the cheating thing, just wow them with relevant data.
Value.
Mm-hmm. That would be my number one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, and the reason that this is such a big issue, and the reason why like these buyer rep agency agreements kind of came into play, is because buyers they don't really understand the differences in value between agents. To them, you are a lockbox monkey. I don't remember who said that. If it was Jeff Cohn or Frank at Viral, I love that lockbox monkey. But it's up to you. It's your responsibility once you make contact with them to not tell but show the value. So that's very key. I mean, and that's where marketing comes into play versus just strictly salesmanship, which is your objective is to demonstrate that you have higher value than other agents, that you're not just a lockbox monkey, you're not just someone that can open up a house for them and write up and just kind of fill in the blanks and submit an offer where they tell you everything to put in the blanks.
Mm-hmm.
That's not you. You are a professional advisor. You are a consultant, and you are there to represent their best interest with your time and energy and knowledge. Like you said, Greg, those are the three things that you bring to it, and you have to prove that your time, energy, and knowledge is worth more than somebody else's time, energy, and knowledge, and here's why. And you have to have your kind of proposition laid out. If you do the mental effort of kind of figuring out what that is beforehand, it makes it a lot easier to not even just tell somebody, here's why you want to work with me, but to demonstrate it at every level of how you work with them and how you interact with them and by the questions that you ask and by the process that you have in place that you're different than other agents, rather than you having to say, hey, I'm different from other agents and here's the 5 reasons why. If you have to do that, that's one thing, but it'd be better for them to get it by osmosis than you having to tell them.
Right, but if you have to actually say those words, I'm better than everybody else because we've already lost the fight. Because, I mean, that's marketing 101. You want other people telling people that, not you telling people that. Because that can come across arrogant, that can come across as you just full of it.
Well, yeah, and if you have to say something to that effect, you don't even say better. You use the phrase different. Here's what makes me different.
Well, it's kind of like also asking the question when you're out shopping for something expensive. So how much is that again? You got to ask. You can't afford it. Okay.
I'm going to remind people of that when they ask you about your custom shirts. If you have to ask, you can't afford Greg's shirt.
If you got to ask, player, you can't have it.
That's right.
As I was told driving through the car wash the other day, I was in my Benz and the guy's like, I had to put new rims on it because he just heard that one of them cracked, so I had to buy some new ones. And he just looks at me, he's like, man, it's a nice car. I'm like, yeah, thanks, buddy, I appreciate it. He goes, man, it costs a floss. And I'm like, it's cost a floss. What is? Oh, floss, shiny. Got it. Okay. Good thing I didn't say anything more because I would have looked really stupid.
Well, that's all right. You're. Let's put it this way: neither one of us have come from the streets, so maybe we're a little light on the lingo sometimes.
Well, let's move on before this goes bad.
All right. So. Unreasonable buyers. Let's talk about that for a second. Actually, let's talk about open houses. So we've got a question here from Mandy Diaz, I believe. Does anyone have a really good open house follow-up email? Because I feel like I'm not getting the responses that I should from potential clients that aren't already working with agents and seemed very motivated and ready when we spoke at the open house. And I want to try a new approach to my follow-up. So Greg, well, let's question that assumption first of all. So she's trying to follow up by email. How do you follow up after an open house?
You know, the best thing to do, guys, is call them on your way home from the open house. That is the most effective thing you can do. One, it builds the bond again. It's not so one-off. It's very much something to be appreciative of. Like when I was buying my car, I wanted to talk to the car dealership guys, right? Like if they had called me at 8 a.m., I would have been like, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? What's happening? So if they want to buy this, they're going to want to hear from you. So pick up the phone. Hey, Matt, it was really good to meet you, Julie, and 1, 2, 3 12-pound babies. I think the home is going to be great with the 5 bedrooms because you're going to need the space with the size of those kids.
What are you saying, Greg? You're not going to fit in bunk beds?
No. The bottom one's going to be flattened by the top one. Okay. Just 12-pound kid, dude. Shit.
All I can think of is Tommy Boy. Anyway, all right, getting back to me and my 3 12-pound babies.
And your wife, Julie.
That's right.
Shit, now I just have Tommy Boy in my head. What was I saying?
You were explaining why I needed 5 bedrooms in my house.
So basically, it's reaching out, having a conversation, thanking them for coming over, seeing if you can sit down and talk with them. You know, come out to their house, talk about what they've seen, or have them come into the office and you know, kind of build that relationship. There's another good system called AM Open House. If you're having a rough time getting the follow-up emails, this does a great job of logging in their information digitally into a system. Then once you close the open house down in the program, it will automatically send them a very compelling email. Again, thanking them to coming by, giving them a link to the website about the house, checking in with them, so on and so forth. It then gives you another reason to call. So let's say at 4:15 you on AM Open House, you're like, okay, close open house, bam. Wham! Out all the emails for the people that registered that day. Then you can call, hey Matt, did you get the email I sent through? I'm using a new system. I wanted to make sure that you got it. Or just say, hey, did you get the email I sent with the information about the property? I emailed out before I left the house today. It gives you something to talk to them about, and then they might have additional questions from there. If you have, by any chance, have their actual physical address and you're not getting the information, maybe do a pop by. But if you have their cell phone numbers, text them. 95% of people that receive a text will respond within 3 to 5 minutes. And it's not a cold text. They'll just say, hey, it's Greg Mcdaniel from the open house today at 123 Main Street, and then get back to them. So that would be my response.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you a little bit from just the perspective of email marketing. So most people, especially if they are in like a professional industry, if they're a knowledge worker of any kind, we're talking about couple hundred emails a day. if not more, depending on what they're doing. And so there is no magic bullet when it comes to writing an email that gets a response. That's the bottom line. Now, I can also tell you that open houses, if you're trying to follow up with them, if you're waiting until Monday to email them, that could be an issue. So you may want to move emailing back to Sunday night. I mean, Sunday night emails get much better. They can potentially get much better response rates than Monday emails. If you have to wait, if you cannot email them on Monday, wait until Tuesday. Tuesday is one of the classic, like, studies have proven that Tuesdays and Thursdays are two of the best days to email people, both for companies and for individuals. They just tend to get better open rates. People are just not in the mode on Mondays. They're too busy. At least the mental perception is they're too busy to deal with stuff that isn't urgent. So I usually don't email a lot of stuff to people on Mondays for that exact reason. I'll wait until Tuesday. So you can try doing that as well. The other thing is the thing that affects email open rates the most is if they're expecting it and if they recognize who it's coming from. If you didn't leave enough of an impression for them to remember your name from the open house, they might just ignore your email, not because your subject line isn't great, not because the content of the email isn't great, but just because they flat out don't recognize your name. And that backs up to the connection that you made with them at the open house. And I can tell you one of the things that really impressed me about Jeff Cohn's team when I did their agent training for open houses with their success manager, they encourage all their agents to do a gift card drawing. So they'll do a Visa gift card, I think for $200, $250, something like that. They have the drawing open for everyone at the open house. Obviously, you have to give your information. You have to submit your name, phone number, and email in order to be entered into the drawing. Well, then they'll take you make an effort to talk to everybody, and then you take the most likely ones out of that, and you just start calling them up either that night or the next day and letting them know that they won the gift card. And the difference is that whoever is for closing. So basically you're calling everyone and letting everyone know that they won because you're willing to take the $250 hit if they work with you to buy a house. So basically you have a strong incentive to call them back and let them know, hey, you know, we did the drawing for the $250 gift card. Just wanted to let you know that you won. If you work with us and end up buying a house, you get a $250 gift card at closing. You know, you can use it for anything you want. So I just wanted to follow up and see if you had any questions about that and how we can potentially get that to you and whether you're looking to buy within the next few months. And then you go on from there. But it gives you a much stronger reason to follow up, and they obviously makes you more memorable and gives them a strong, compelling reason to talk to you.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic, and the cost of acquisition is $150, $250 or whatever. But then you can build off of that and do referrals. Maybe you're gonna get the buy and the sell side. If you guys are like, holy shit, that's expensive, I can't do that. I've showed a lot of you guys the $25 gift certificate that we do for Forbes Mill Steakhouse. So all of you guys that can't see that on iTunes and Stitcher. It's a $25 gift certificate to a very nice steakhouse here in town. It costs us 38 cents for this. The cost of the printing job is 38 cents. So go down and talk to local restaurants and shops and get some good value. Maybe even Matt, be able to get a bundle of these, all about $25 or whatever, and put them into a package that could maybe equal $100 or $125 of value that you can give to them up front, and then maybe, I don't know, do something on the back end. Also, we have these made up. These are booklets about our team that have a lot of value to them. We're doing some, here's all of our team: Terry, Chris, me, and we got the Eileen right there. She's gonna kill me. That's a steel trap, everybody. That's the real shot of her. John and Sue, who are other agents. We're showing strength of our team, kind of what we do. Hold on, let's see one that's kind of visually stimulating. We have all of our properties that we've sold. So here's like a Google Maps of a bunch of properties we've sold. So we do that, and that kind of is another opportunity that will make you memorable to the point when you send the email. They'll be like, oh, yeah, it's that Greg guy. He's the one that gave us that Forbes Mill coupon that we're going to use on your birthday, honey. Let's get back to him.
Yep.
That's another opportunity for if you needed something a little bit more on a, I don't know, different type of an approach maybe, because both of them are a little bit different. Both gift cards, one's up front, one's at the end. But I like Matt's. I mean, it's another good one too. There's nothing up front. It's pure out of the escrow. Sure, take $250 out of the escrow, give them a gift card. Who gives a shit?
Yep, exactly. Which is the advantage of that. So you don't even have to buy it in advance. You literally could have a blank Visa gift card. If you need to have something physical there to represent the gift card at the open house, you literally just get a blank Visa gift card. You don't even have anything loaded onto it until it closes or close to closing, and then you load it up and shoot it over to them.
I would definitely not recommend having your own Visa card, guys. Hey, guys, this is a card you're going to get. Was that say Gregory T. Mcdaniel? Oh, thank you.
That's right. Spending spree. Okay. So let's get into the buying process. This will be our final question. So LaKayla Abrams asks, "Help!" with 5 exclamation points. I'm really close to giving this buyer the boot. So what do you say to a completely unreasonable buyer that no matter what, they're coming in with ridiculously low offers? So you know they're qualified, but they won't listen. They ask to see the comps. The comps support the list price, but then they want to make an offer that's about 25 grand less and ask the seller to pay closing costs. They've already lost 2 homes to multiple offers, and during the same time she's been working with them, she's actually put 4 other buyers under contract just since Thanksgiving. So over the course of December, basically, the same time period she's been working with these 1 buyers. So Greg, how would you handle that?
Tell them to get the out. You know, no, you gotta seriously. If they're gonna be that much of a pain in the ass, you gotta look at them to really see if the juice is gonna be worth the squeeze. I mean, if they're a $1 million, $2 million buyer and they're being this nitty picky. That's not a word, is it? That's not even a phrase. Nitpicky. That is it. Nitty picky. Yeah.
Nitty gritty. Nitpicky. Yeah.
Dyslexic blending things. Like iTunes. What did I say?
YouTunes. That's how you screwed me up for like a month on that. YouTunes. Yes.
I've still been saying it, and I'm like, you can get us on YouTube. No,
I still don't know what's at that site. I have no idea what YouTunes is, nor do I make any guarantees about what you might find there.
YouTunes. That doesn't take us anywhere. Anyways, I divulge. So what I'd really look at is, are they going to be that much of a pain in the ass to deal with? Drop them like a hot rock. I'm not kidding you, because if she put 5 other people into contract in the same amount of time, why are we wasting our time with this person? Now, if they are real about it, but they're just super analytical, or it's an ego thing, they just want to say they got a ripping deal, they manipulated, or whatever the seller into paying their closing costs. That's when your negotiation skills come in. You need to find out what their bigger issue is. Is it more about the bragging rights, or is it truly about the cash? Or do they have champagne taste on a beer budget? I always like to say, big hat, no cattle. So if the guy's got a big old hat but he has no cattle, he's full of shit. You guys can't see Matt, but he's dying right now.
Oh, I am dying. Big hat, no cat. Where did you come from, Greg? You're outside the Bay Area, and that is like, I can see a guy with a really big hat and a Texas accent saying that phrase.
Hi, y'all.
Where in the world did that come from?
Both of my sides of my family are farmers and ranchers.
That's
so
hilarious. I've
grown up on ranches and everything else. But yeah, when I first heard it, I'm like, big hat, no cattle. What the blank? The guy's full of it. I get it.
So anyway, going back to ego thing.
Yeah, vet them out. And there are certain types of personalities that it is purely about the ego. You make a decision if you want to work with them, or if you want to have a lot of fun, refer the SOB over to an agent that you really don't like and take a referral fee. Call it a day.
I just want to mend fences. I've got this great buyer. I don't have time to work with him, but he'd be great for you, just perfect for you.
I think your personality and get together. You guys
right. I think your personalities really mesh. Yeah.
No.
Well, there was something we talked about this before we went on the air, so I wanted to make sure that you revisit this, because I don't think you hit it quite hard enough.
Well, thanks.
Well, you mentioned something really good, which is you need to figure out, and not just about figuring out if the juice is worth the squeeze, but take them back to what's their real goal, right? Yeah. So that's part of how, and you brought this out, which I thought was really good, which before you get to the fact where you determine that it's an ego thing, and that's a whole other set of issues, but you really need to figure out what is their goal.
Yeah.
Is it a money issue? Are they, and you mentioned the example of, maybe they're an investor, they're looking to get the equity on the front side, whether they want to flip it or hold it or whatever, but maybe they need to feel like they need to get that purchase price down X amount in order for the deal to be worth it. That's a whole other battle. You can't necessarily fault them for that, although maybe they shouldn't be going after the houses in that price range to begin with, but that's another story. Then you've got, the buyers that are, maybe they're pre-approved, but they don't want to spend that much. They don't want their monthly payment to be X. They want it to be Y. So there's different reasons that could be, but they obviously have there's some reason that they're offering way lowball. It could be financial, it could be psychological, but you have to figure out what that is, and then you can deal with the real objection behind the problem.
Yeah, it's called going 3 deep. We talked about this several times. Ask the question, listen to their answer, and then ask why, to understand deeper and deeper stuff. It will come out between the third and fifth question after the initial question. You'd be like, well, Greg, because I really can't afford it. My job's maybe a little bit insecure. I just want to make sure I can keep the property. Like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, let's attack it a different way. So just again, always go in with a servant-minded attitude and try to serve them to the best of your abilities. And sometimes the best of your abilities is not helping them buy that house. Yeah. I've helped a couple of clients out. She's looking for $1 million and change home. I was doing the why 3 deep questions with her, and ultimately it came to the point that all she wants to do is she wanted to build a real estate empire. And I'm like, okay, you have a beautiful townhouse. You're trying to double your monthly nut on your outgoing expenses, not sell your townhouse, acquire 2 properties. That's stupid. So what I did is I talked her out of that, and I talked her into a $400,000 or $500,000 investment property in a city called Concord, where you got 2 houses on 1 lot. So we helped her get her real estate empire started without having such a high monthly nut. And that's just another way of going out and just serving. So.
Yeah, and there was something in here that I might have skipped over the first time, but I was just looking at the question again, and she said comps totally support the list price, but then they'll text me a number that's $25,000 less and asking the seller to pay closing costs. Now that to me is that should be a big red flag. I mean, how often, Greg, are you texting? Like the buyer will text her a number to write into the offer. Now, how many times are you taking that kind of direction from a buyer via text?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You need to have that conversation. Also, if you're going to have anything in a written format, try to get it out onto an email. There are programs you can, pull all your emails off of your phone and turn them into like a format that you can submit into the file. But that needs to be either in a voice or in a email conversation that you can sort and search. Because we have a seller right now in Walnut Creek, and it's a home that needs some work. It really does. We keep finding more and more issues with it, and we've had several buyers come in, and they're saying, well, we'll give him this price, but he has to cover our closing costs. And I'm sitting there going, no, it's not how it's done. And they're like, okay, we'll give you this price, and he covers our closing costs. And it got to the point where it worked financially from my guy. So we said, okay, but it fell apart. The guy ultimately couldn't pay for the home. That's why he was having us cover the closing costs. So you're right. That should be a massive red flag. And you need to go talk to that lender immediately, or the buyer, and be like, what is going on with this guy? Why can't he afford this home? Why is he writing an offer on it?
Right.
Which, by the way, I didn't know this, but there are still lenders that will allow you to write into the offer. Also, let's say the property's $700,000. Well, $675,000, right? And then they'll write in $700,000, and then they'll have the lender will allow the closing costs to be covered through the difference, because the seller will give the buyer a credit of $25,000. Dude, I thought that was been gone for years, but we just closed a deal on it. I could not believe it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, well, there's more people doing it. Heck yeah. I'll start doing that with my buyers. I didn't realize I'm not on the table.
Is that a harbinger of bad things to come, though?
Yeah. I was like, there's no one can ever do that. They're like, oh, yeah, you can. Here's the bank information. I'm like, no shit. All right. Let's get it done.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. Do you want to deal with that one thing question we were talking about before we went on the air? You want to take a stab at that?
What one thing?
All right. Well, I'll throw it out to you, and we'll just riff on it in a little bit, and if not, we'll end the show.
Greg, under bus.
That's right. All right, I'm gonna throw you under the bus here. So Julio Alexander Cordero Ceci, and I'm sure I messed that up at somewhere along. There's 4 names. There's no way I got all that right.
No way. No way.
Said if you could do only one thing to transform your real estate business, and you only had 20 minutes a day to practice, what would that one thing be?
I have an answer for that now, Matt.
Great.
I avoided the bus. Guys, if you only had 20 minutes a day to go do one thing, why not go down to Starbucks or Pete's or something like that and strike up a conversation with someone in line? and then hand them your business card as you're getting your cup of coffee in the morning. Now it should take you about 20 minutes. Sit there and have a little chit chat, hand them the card, keep moving, and call it a day. Boom. Thank you very much. Mic drop.
Yeah, all right. Can I give my answer to that?
Sure.
All right. Starbucks. Really? That's your answer to that? Starbucks?
Like you wouldn't go to Starbucks for 20 minutes a day.
Not to talk to people? Absolutely not. It's too peoply out there.
You antisocial creature, you.
Yeah. All right. So here's what I would do. If I was breaking into a new market, if I was only working buyers, I would get on something that generates buyer leads however I needed to do it, whether it's equity, whether it's partnering up with another agent that's on a platform like Boomtown or Commissions Inc. There's all kinds of ways that you can get on and start generating buyer leads. I would spend that 20 minutes a day. If it was a block of time, if the question is how to practice, then I would spend the time practicing how to follow up and how to convert buyer leads better, and researching the market that I'm looking to work with those buyers in to make sure I know what I'm talking about. And then I would maybe spend 20 minutes a day going and touring some of those homes and reviewing them on something like HomeBuzz, like we interviewed Christian Peter last week on. So that's if I was going with buyers.
But you only have 20 minutes. I mean, you're building like an hour there.
Yeah, well, you could either do script practice or you could go preview the homes. Let's put it that way. So that's if I was working with buyers. If I was working with sellers or going after sellers, then it'd be circle prospecting on a Mojo dial. You can make 25 calls in 20 minutes.
Oh, at least you can do that much.
Yeah.
Okay. Are those your two?
Those would be my two. One for buyers, one for sellers.
Okay, fine. I'm coming back with another one then.
Okay.
Another thing I would do, guys, is I would take 20 minutes. Any people, anyone else that you had met in the past, last year, whenever, that are leads, do 5 follow-ups every day with handwritten letters, calls, text messages, or emails. That will be your best time spent for both buyers or sellers. Because like the areas that Matt and I just talked about, that's where you'd go get the people that you could then go do the follow-ups with. But dude, I told you last year, man, I started doing with our challenge, I was doing like 200 or 300 phone calls a day, and I was doing 5 follow-ups a day, and my business prospects blew up. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was unsustainable growth.
Yeah.
I mean, forgive me for having such a horrible problem, but I mean, it really could have been, because I wouldn't have been able to give the service. So just by doing the follow-ups, I called a guy today, man. His name was Freeman, totally cool dude. And he's like, "Hey, man, thanks so much for following up with me. I really appreciate that." Oh, sure, I told you I would.
Yeah, but that's the rarity, is that people say, "Yeah, I'll follow up with you," and then never hear from again.
Never. Crickets. By the way, I have like a stack of cards right here that I have been very guilty of doing that.
That's right. Well,
I have to call them up. I will. By the way, before we wrap this thing up, I want to say what's up to everybody in my new AIM class. If you guys are watching this, I'm really pumped to have you guys in this class. You guys are awesome. And I look forward to working with you in the next coming month.
Very cool. Well, with that said, why don't we give a quick shout out to vendors real quick, and then we'll send the show home for this last time. So, Viral Marketing, thank you for writing a check to make Hangouts and podcasts like these happen. So if you're looking for help on online video and email marketing to your database to generate repeat and referral business, make sure to check them out, getviral.com. And then Equity, the online buyer lead generation, specifically built from the ground up for solo agents. Just take the Mcdaniel Challenge if you're interested in generating buyer leads and partnering up with, Equity will partner you up with a mortgage lender that will subsidize the cost of that. So it's very, very affordable. Just take the Mcdaniel Challenge, get hooked up with Greg, and he will tell you where it's available. If it's available in your area, he'll get you hooked up with the next steps on that. And Greg, what is the Mcdaniel Challenge?
Mcdaniel Challenge is allowing Greg to not spend the night alone. Hang out with one of you ridiculously awesome real estate agents for an hour and a half, helping you guys work through any and all of your, well, not all, it's kind of a big,
some
promise
most.
there.
Yeah, large chunk of your hangups, sticking points, or challenges.
If there's anything I can help you with, I will do my best. Call me. Text me. Please set a time. Dates are booking very, very quickly. Best number, 925-915-1978. Again, 925-915-1978. And for the Equity guys, it's Equity with 2 Qs. Pierce has been working on the site. There's a lot of great info on there. Go get it and read it up. Call me. And let's get you guys rocking.
Very cool. And we are working on some fun things for now this year, 2016, both in terms of like live speaking events and training classes. We're coming out with like a prospecting training class, not just a course, not just a video training course that you passively watch, but an actual class that you take online with Greg, kind of in a webinar or Google Hangout type format. So if you're interested in details on that, let us know, let Greg know. It's something that we're working on. We'd love your input on as far as what you'd like to learn. We're still putting the course together, so there's still time to get your suggestions and questions in there so that we get them answered in that type of course. And then if you want to hear us or see us live, like in your office, speaking to your agents and to you about high-tech prospecting or any of the other topics that we talk about on the show, again, take the Mcdaniel Challenge, get a hold of Greg and hook him up with the broker or team leader in your office that makes those sorts of decisions so that they can chat and talk about getting us in there live to actually do a real estate uncensored live in your office. So we're excited to do those here in 2016.
Yeah, we are, man. Yeah, we are. And we guys, we do this for you. We 100% do this for you. We are so blessed and honored that you guys take your time. Matt and I literally get like a high doing this because we get ramped up and we're just getting in our element, and then we just go out there and just wreck heads and have fun, and hopefully bring a little bit of humor to a otherwise very dull industry. To anyone else who's watching that, going, "Fuck you, dude, dull. I'm cool." But you guys know what I mean. And so thank you. Please tell a friend. We really, really respect your time.
Yeah. Thank you so much for everybody that has already subscribed on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Continue to subscribe there and subscribe on iTunes. Tell a friend in the business. That's how the show grows. We don't do any advertising, really, of any kind. So it's basically just growing by word of mouth. So we really, really appreciate that, and look forward to helping more and more people. So until then, we've got another episode on Wednesday. We're going to have more. I don't know that we have a guest lined up necessarily for Wednesday. We might try to get Ashley, who we had to reschedule from about a week and a half ago, onto the show. If not, we'll be answering some more questions about sales and marketing for real estate on that show. We're running 3 episodes a week, guys. So if you know of anybody that's killing it in any way, we're looking for people that are doing something unique to generate leads or market themselves. So if you know anybody that's killing it with organic Facebook or Facebook ads, Google pay-per-click, Instagram, Pinterest, anybody that's generating leads and generating business in a unique way, we'd love to have them on the show. So please, nominate somebody, email us. Greg at McDanielRealEstateSystems.com. That forwards right to your primary personal email. So if you have someone that you'd like us to interview on the show, just let us know and shoot us an email.
Yeah, guys. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for your help, and we truly look forward to see you guys on the next episode.
That's right. Thank you so much, guys.